Good morning, beginning farmer friends. Before we get started on the video today, can I just say it is awesome being part of the beginning farmer community. There has been so many great suggestions and comments that you guys have put down lately as I'm working in the shop or on the farm. Just hearing your thoughts and maybe what I could do, that's been pretty awesome. So thank you so much. If you do like the videos, give it a comment, a thumbs up, a like, a subscribe if you aren't subscribed yet. Let's find something to do. The thing that I know we're not going to do though is drive anything. I didn't plug in the 4010. I didn't plug in the truck. So I'm gonna plug in the truck right now so that I can go somewhere, and then we're gonna find something to do. Most likely we're gonna go work on that fence. I'm walking along where this fence is going to go, and I'm noticing that I've got a lot of weeds and tall grass here, so I'm thinking that I should probably go get the trimmer and trim underneath it. I'm not really worried about it shorting out. The grass is so dry this time of year, but it would just make it easier to lay the fence out. Let's go get the trimmer. The other question I have is, will that chainsaw thing that I've got on the trimmer right now, will that take care of this grass? Because I'll be completely honest, I'm feeling like I don't want to take the time to take that off. I just want to do it. Let's give it a try. We know it can take down trees. Can it take down grass? Here is my review of the chainsaw thing. I don't even remember what it's called anymore because the label is all worn off. It works and it cuts all the grass. Of course, I don't have thick green lush grass right now, so I don't know how that would work, but I will say this: it tangled up around it a lot more. I think because it's just this circle and not a string whipping around or my grass blade whipping around, it would tangle up in behind the guard a little bit. All in all, it worked pretty good, and I didn't have to take it off and put on a different blade, so that saved me 5 minutes. 5 minutes is a lot. We've got 3 more wires of this puny 17 gauge wire to pull. Let's go do that real quick, and then we'll be ready to put some tension on this fence. That wasn't too bad. It really only took 20 minutes or so to line out those 4 wires. This is not a big area. It's just the winter lot where the cows and the sheep are for the winter when there's snow on the ground or the ground's frozen. Let's talk about the power of organization for a second. I went and walked and got these tensioners exactly where I knew that they were, and then I walked over here to this shed, and I'm getting the tool to tighten the tensioners. This is just pretty incredible. Game changing, I would even say. Back in the olden days when I started the farm and I wasn't very smart, I just used to run a wire and I just used to pull on it as tight as I can at the end of the line, and then tie it off and hope that it stayed tight and was tight. Now I use these tensioners. I use a bunch of different styles, but the ones that go in the middle of the line, not at the end of the line, I like those best. The person that helped us put up this high tensile fence on the outside of our property said that these middle of the line tensioners are better because then you're pulling from both ends. I've got the tool, and you just kind of crank on it a little bit, twist it up. This is, you know, like I said, 17 gauge wire, so I'm not going to go ultra tight here, but we will get it tight enough that it'll keep the sheep in, and because I don't really want to pop it either. So you get it tight, and the nice thing about this tool is there's these little hooks. Basically, they're kind of like quarters welded onto this, and then you can hook it and take your hands off, grab your key that goes in, and put that down. I have no idea where I got this from. I'm sure all your basic farm stores have them, but we got this one when we put up our fence, which was PowerFlex fence when we put it up. Let's put the rest of them on. I just went along and I put in these plastic posts right here and all the way along, just so that there's a little bit of extra tension helping hold this wire up. I think this is gonna work. It's not great. If you watched my video yesterday, I'm not happy about it, but it'll work. Quite a few years back, I got smart and I installed this Cobat water. That looks weird. Quite a few years back, I got smart and I installed this frost-free Cobat water that I'm sitting on. This is energy-free, frost-free. I will admit, I only have, 15 to 20 cows and 20 to 25 sheep on it at any one time. So if it gets really cold, 10 degrees, 5 degrees, -5 degrees, I do have to come out first thing in the morning and break off a skim of ice. What it is this above ground water that you see, and then a tube that goes deep down into the earth where the heat from the ground can come up. It seems like every year I have a little bit of a problem with the valve. The water that I have uses this floatless valve instead of a ball float. They do sell them with a ball float, but with the rural water that we have, we don't have a well. This floatless valve worked well for that, and so that's what I went with. This right here is your adjustment of how much water level there is in the tank, and I break that off, it seems like, every year. So I'm gonna take this off. It's just a couple half-inch bolts, and then we'll see what's going on down there, make sure everything's ready for the year. Then I'll turn it on, we'll fill it up, and then we'll be ready to bring some cattle in. I do have one more piece of fence that I need to fix, so I'm just looking at. We're making progress. I'm not sure how much of this you're going to be able to see, but if you look right here below where my finger is pointing, there is actually a filter there that the water line comes up and then through, and then there's this hose that I'm moving right here. That's what goes to the bowl where the float is and that the cattle and the sheep drink out of. Now I've got to dig in here and take apart, there's a cover right here that I'm going to take apart that covers up that valve to protect it. We're going to give that valve a once over and then turn on the water and see what it looks like. The nice thing about having this valve and this shutoff here is I can kind of clean this out real quick before I put it back in just by using my little nozzle here. I've got this tool right here that you can slide in, and that will allow you to turn the adjuster so you can adjust your level. I don't remember if it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey as far as your height and things like that, so it's always a trial and error. This literally says raise lower on it. Kids these days. I think we're golden. I'm gonna put it back in. We will put those bolts back in, and then we'll just adjust the water level, and we should be good to go for winter 2020, 2021. I know I said that I've had some problems with that valve in the past, and I have, but I don't want to put too much blame on this Cobat water or on that valve, because a lot of it has been me because I haven't known which way that turns, or I have turned it the wrong way. This has been a really great investment for us. I cannot imagine having cattle in the winter here without having this Cobat water. Let's all say it together. Clockwise to raise, counterclockwise to lower. I'm 100% sure that the truck would not have started this morning, but I think there's a chance on the 4010s. Let's see if we can pull off a cold start today. There wasn't even a question about it. I'm gonna let it warm up for a minute, put away my tools and my valve. It is good to always have a valve like this on hand for that water, because in the middle of the winter, if something breaks on this valve, I won't have water until I get it replaced. So I like to keep one on hand. I'm gonna put away my tools, then we're gonna go spread some rock around where that water is. I just spread around the gravel as much as I could. It was actually frozen in chunks, so I couldn't do a very good job with it. But I came over and I was looking at my gravel, and I noticed this. This has risen about ½ an inch to an inch, actually, since just that time. So there is a small leak coming in from somewhere. I'm gonna go get the tool, tighten it up a little bit, but I'm gonna have to keep an eye on this because there is just enough water coming in to raise it up that it would just pour out all the time. I don't want to do that. That wastes water. I've already forgotten. Was it counterclockwise to lower, clockwise to raise? I'm not good at this kind of stuff. It got nice while I was in town. I finished working on that water over there and I headed to town to do some work. I'm back now though, and I want to check on that water, see what's going on. I'm thinking it is slowly, ever so slowly creeping up, but maybe not fast enough to cause a problem. So I think the best solution is to get the cows in here. Let them drink on it, get the sheep in here, let them drink on it, and then we'll see how it is. I've got some areas like where this bale ring is right here. I need to get the chain and hook onto the bale ring and lift it out and move it to a new spot and then scrape out all this old, basically it's compost right now, but when it gets wet, it gets really muddy and slick, so I need to scrape that out. So I'm gonna go grab the 4010. We'll start moving those bale rings around, start scraping up some of that old hay. I would say in a day we'll be ready. As far as infrastructure goes, I am ready to bring cows in. The water is filled up and working, ready to go. I pulled this fence panel out of the frozen mud, so it is ready. My 1-year temporary perimeter fence is tight and ready to go. All I have to do is hook it up to electric and then we should be good on that. I put a bale in this bale saver ring, so it's ready to go. Finally, I did throw a second bale in here, so when I get the bale ring up, then I'll just be able to throw a bale in that. I am ready for the cows. Remember, the whole reason that I'm going through all the motions getting this winter lot ready right now is really twofold. The cows are talking to me over there. First of all, it's December 2nd, so it's time to get the cows moved into the winter area. So far, we're keeping waters on frozen, but any day now it could be a lot more difficult to do that. But the second reason is I want to try to sell some heifers off. I think this year out of the 6 calves we had, there were 4 heifers, and that's just too many for us. Plus we have some yearling heifers, so I want to have the vet out. We want to move some Dexters along because we want to raise some money for work on the shed, and because it would be nice to feed a few less over the winter if we know that we're not going to keep them. I'm out here in the pig lot thinking if it stays dry this weekend, I need to get out here and cut some trees down, cut some wood. Actually, the trees are already down. I just need to get in here with the tractor or get in here with the truck and start doing some logging because my winter wood supply not so giant right now. I do have an issue though. I am running out of pigs. I've got 11 pigs left out here. I would say 10 of them are ready to go to the butcher. I actually have 2 processing dates in the month of December. This year has just been so crazy as far as the processing and the animals go. We've processed everything we've had and we've been selling everything we have, and we still have a lot of demand. We're trying to ramp up as best we can, but even moving into 2021, it's going to take us a little while. Like, we'll hit farmers market season in May, I think pretty good, but I'm afraid we'll kind of have a little bit of a lull in the January through March, April time period. These pigs. They are all over me. You know, we have this friend who has some Kune hogs or some American Guinea hogs. I forget what they are. She really babies them, but she says that her pigs smell like maple syrup, and she thinks that's unique to her pigs because her pigs are so awesome. But my pigs kind of smell like maple syrup too. And I just had them breathing right on me right there, so I would know. Thank you so much for coming along on the ride today. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. I really appreciate all of you so much, and I'm really digging this weather today. You know, started out in the 20s, got all the way up to the upper 40s today. It's beautiful. I'm going to try to take advantage of it as much as I can here as we head into December.